Hi, I'm Unruly Anime. The story begins with our protagonist, Yuuki, complaining about having to clean up every morning at school. His so-called friends, who look like nerds and are making fun of Yuuki, have a good laugh. This is because they can take it easy since Yuuki is practically Mr. Clean and has unparalleled cleaning skills. Just then, all the girls arrive late to school as always, but the boys can't do anything about it since they are not granted powers like the girls are. Unlike boys, girls are able to gain powers simply by eating peaches. Yuuki points out how useless his life is since all boys are playing life on hard mode from the second they are born. Our boy Yuuki finds ways to make himself useful, as one of his buddies asks him to fix a button on his suit like guys tend to do. Yuuki pulls out his super manly sewing kit and fixes it up with lightning speed, like a human sewing machine, amazing all his friends. However, the little nerd points out that his sewing skills don't help him get any ladies. Yuki's older sister taught him how to sew because boys are pretty worthless since they don't receive the benefits of the peaches. She taught him well, but she was pretty abusive about it, as she would choke him straight into unconsciousness if he didn't do it right. Yuki's side character friend wonders about his sister, but he is told by the other little nerd that it's a sensitive topic. It's almost time for Yuuki to start looking for a career, but he begins to wonder if that's all there really is to life. Between having to work a dead-end job and all that sewing he does, he will be a useless sweep forever. Yuuki snaps out of this depressive state of mind and assures himself that there is something more out there, a place where he can make a difference without having to sew a single thing. Just then, the area becomes really foggy, and a strong gust of wind pushes him back. When the fog clears, Yuuki realizes that it's his worst nightmare. He has appeared in a place called Mato. He begins to freak out and searches for his phone to bring out the Mato instruction manual. Mato refers to an alternate dimension accessible via gateways, also known as doors. These doors suddenly appeared throughout Japan. Damages and injuries sustained as a result of monsters known as Shuki entering their world or civilians accidentally wandering into Mato are referred to as Mato mishaps. This little history lesson is good and all, but what's really important is what he needs to do now. When a civilian finds themselves in Mato, they're supposed to stay wherever they are and wait for the Demon Defense Force to rescue them. The terrified Yuuki plans to do just that, but one of these horrifying Shuki appears to attack him. Yuuki runs for his life from the monsters that look like they're straight out of Bleach, but he arrives at a dead end, and several more Shuki appear. Yuuki determines that he can't sew his way out of this one, so he has the bright idea to throw a rock at the creature. This shockingly accomplishes nothing and just gets him mad. Yuuki then imagines what his body would look like after getting sliced up by this thing. He won't be able to sew himself back together, but he explains that he doesn't want his life to end this way. The demon isn't listening to his concerns at all, as it's about to destroy him. But just then he is saved by a girl riding on a Shuki. This girl calls him unlucky for getting attacked so fast and initiates a fight with all the other beasts. She slices a bunch of the low-level demons in half with their swords, but she sees that the Shuki she was riding just had its arms ripped off. She knew the dumb thing would be too weak, so she continues taking care of business on her own. Her name is Kyouka, and she is the commander of the 7th Squadron. In the Demon Defense Force, she tells Yuuki to stay back, but he makes himself super useful by pointing out that things are getting worse by the second. Kyouka takes control of one of the Shuki by putting a chain around its neck, and the two get out of there. They are chased soon after, but Himari, Nei, and Shushu arrive to back up their commander. They report that there are no other survivors, so Nei checks their surroundings again. She finds that a horde of low-level monsters is approaching quickly, so Kyouka tells them to handle it while she takes the boy to safety. The girls instantly handle business as Himari does her best impression of Mega Man and transforms her hand into some kind of Gatling gun to put a bunch of holes in the demons. Shushu won't be outdone, and she shows off her ability to grow into a giant like she's one of the Avengers. It becomes pretty apparent to Yuuki that of all the girls that are able to get power from peaches, these girls are the cream of his crop. Yuuki has only heard rumors about the Demon Defense Force, but seeing them in action now amazes him. The girls finish up the hollows from Bleach, and we see that they found an unconscious boy. They assume that their commander made it back to the dorm already, so they decide to go and check if the last site has been cleared before heading home. The little boy wakes up, but instead of being grateful for them saving him, he just looks around for his sister. Elsewhere, we see that the commander hasn't made it back yet, and she is busy reminding Yuuki about the most important rule. When a civilian finds himself in a Mato mishap, they're supposed to keep their mouth shut. Just then, they must stop as they come across the girl that Yuuki remembers seeing just before going through the gate. This girl is just about to learn an important lesson from gravity, but luckily she is saved by Kyouka. Kyouka's Shuki slave is way too slow, so they have to abandon it, and she begins fighting all the demons chasing them. Yuuki bravely protects the girl, but he must be saved as well. Kyouka quickly raises the A barrier and tells them not to wet themselves, but the demons are beginning to break through. Things are looking bad even for Kyouka, and she begins to think about how she got stuck with a lousy ability. A look into the past shows some girls gossiping about her. She is known for being strong, but her ability stinks, and they are certain she will never be Supreme Commander. Kyouka's determined to prove those dumb girls wrong and vows to one day rule over all the commanders. Time is running out, and she thinks about doing something crazy. She has never tested her ability on a man before, so she has a serious decision to make. She tells Yuuki that she needs something from him in order for them to escape. So of course the little dweeb is eager to do whatever it takes to survive. He doesn't get what he expected, as Kyouka informs him that he's going to be her slave. The process seems like it might be a little risky. However, as Kyouka tells the little girl to get out of the way and close her eyes, Kyouka explains that if Yuuki had enhanced strength, they would have a shot at making it out of there alive. Yuuki can't believe that she wants him to fight the demons, but the Kyouka man handles him and reminds him that he said he would do whatever it takes. She then explains that it's time for him to bow down to her. These words hit Yuuki like a train, and despite never even having touched a girl before, he reacts on instinct. Yuuki holds her finger out to him, and for some strange reason, his instincts tell him to lick it the second his disgusting tongue touches her probably dirty finger. Chains of energy surround him, immense power bursts out of his body, and Yuuki transforms into a crazy-looking demon.
屈服の時間だ。
差し出された彼女の指を舐めてしまっていた。こ
れは
He looks way more powerful now, and Kyouka is the Mesa. See that it actually worked. The other girls arrive and are shocked to see that their commander has turned him into her slave. Yuuki is insanely powerful, as he slices right through a demon, and things have worked out way better than Kyouka could have imagined. Kyouka mounts him and commands him to show her what he's got. Yuuki then starts ripping all the demons to shreds like a boss, flying through the air and slicing right through all of them like they don't even exist.
Yuuki!
Kyouka throws in some commands for good measure, and she is stunned by how fast he is. Kyouka reunites the little siblings, but everyone is startled when the demons start doing some reuniting of their own. The giant lump of demons becomes a huge demon, so Kyouka sends the others home so she can take care of business with Yuuki. She commands him to crush the giant, so Yuuki bursts right through the little rock it was carrying. He dodges all of its attacks and trims a bit off the top of the demon's body. The thing blows up in a huge way, leaving all the girls that apparently haven't left yet to wonder who in the world this guy is. Kyouka ends her ability and reverts Yuuki back to his very average and plain self. Kyouka declines the other girl's offer to return home like a jerk because she needs to have a very important and secret conversation with her new toy. She reveals that he surprised her, as she never would have guessed that an average Joe like him had it in him to turn into such a beast. She wants to make his job as her slave a permanent arrangement, but that statement alone makes our boys speechless. Before any of that, there's an important caveat to her ability. She wasn't kidding, as she planted a kiss right on Yuki's face.
これからも私の奴隷として働き続けるといい。え？能力の代償。私は主として働きに見合った褒美を。
キスか褒美？
随分と働いたからな。
She pretty unfairly calls him a pervert and explains that this is the price of her ability. Since she is the master, she must, without exception, compensate her slave with the reward. As if that weren't crazy enough, the reward must be one that equals the work her slave does. Each time he carries out a task, Yuki's heart is pounding out of his chest, and he can't believe that his reward was a kiss. Kyouka explains that he worked really hard out there and, shockingly, offers to give him another kiss. Yuki freaks out as she has given him plenty to dream about already, and he declines the offer. He does probably the most awkward thing anyone can do in this moment, and he accidentally hits her in the face. Kyouka sympathizes with him and explains that she wasn't expecting the situation either. When the Shuki were her slaves, they only wanted slices of pork as a reward. Yuki, on the other hand, is a disgusting pervert, and she reveals that in these moments, her body moves automatically, regardless of how she feels about it. It's the price she must pay for her ability, so she plants another kiss on him.
これは私の意志に関わらず自動的に体が動く。
Afterwards, Yuki makes the dimmest looking face, as he is still stunned to have just had his first kiss. Kyouka gets really serious as she explains that if even just one of the Shuki were to appear in the real world, there would be dozens of casualties. Her goal is to become Supreme Commander and exterminate the vile creatures for good. The current Supreme Commander is a loser and far too lenient. With Yuki's help, she is sure that she can reach her goal, so she insists that he work for her. Yuki surprises absolutely no one when he reveals that he isn't good at stuff like sports or academics. All he is confident in is his ability to be a maid and keep a house sparkling clean. That isn't a problem for Kyouka, as she is all for a dude who knows how to clean. Aside from that, Yuki showed a lot of bravery when trying to save the girl, even though he was just being a meat shield. Kyouka thinks he isn't too bad for a guy, so Yuki finally finds some courage and declares that he wants to be a hero. Yuki only has a life of monotony and mediocrity waiting for him in the real world. In this world, he can turn into a monster that looks like something from Attack of the Titans and Bleach. For the first time ever, he feels like he can avenge his sister's death. Most importantly, the little perp says it will all be worth it as long as he gets his reward from Kyouka. Soon after they go to the demon defense for Dawn, Yuki passes through the barrier and prepares to become a prestigious member of the force. Yuki enters with a completely new outlook on life. He is a totally different man now, and he confidently stands before the girls, awaiting his introduction. The girls just wonder who the nerd is, and Kyouka just introduces him as the caretaker. She explains that during battle he will be her slave, but at the dorm he is the girl's caretaker. Some of these girls have never even seen a boy before, but Kyouka explains that they're all very skilled fighters. They all have colorful personalities, so their caretakers don't usually stick around for long. Yuki is the perfect fit because he is as dull as it gets, and he is great at cleaning. Yuki is furious since he thought he was going to be on the demon defense force, but Kyouka explains that men are not allowed to join. She instructs the girls to make him feel at home, so they waste no time telling him to do chores. Yuki can hardly keep up, but Nei is the only nice one among them and tells him that everything will be okay. The others are quick to point out that the little girl has superiority over him, so he better not disobey her. Yuki's dreams of having a meaningful life have been shattered as he goes into a deep depression for having to obey the orders of a child. Things might not be so bad, as Kyouka kindly welcomes him to the squadron. I appreciate you viewing my anime recap, Unruly Family. Please let me know what you think about Chain Soldier by liking, sharing, subscribing, and leaving a comment.
Take you out.